Hey yo everybody. So last week I put up a video showing you how to erect a deer stand, how to pick a good spot for putting up your ladder stand for deer hunting season. And today we're going to do some improvements on it. So I've got some garden tools and a couple other things in my backpack. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll talk you through all of my modifications. Here we are at the at our stand, at my stand that I did the video on last week. It's been through quite a bit of weather over the past week. We had some thunderstorms, which of course shook the tree some. I'm sure that it's loosened up the grip a little bit, and it's had time for the ground to settle under the ladder. So first thing before we even get started, let's take a look at some of the things that we're going to do. First off, the materials. So we have several items we have a few items for which we're going to do the modifications to the stand. First off, another ratchet strap. I got this from Harbor Freight. It was like 6 of them for $5 or something like that. It's enough. It's enough to pretty much just hold the stand a little bit tighter to the tree. I got a tarp, also from Harbor Freight Tools, a 7-foot by 9-foot, and that one was also about $6. And some zip ties. The zip ties are going to secure the tarp to the bar. After you fold the bar down, you want something to wrap around it in order to conceal you better. And so that's what the tarp and the zip ties are going to be for. Other tools. I've got several knives. I got a machete, some loppers for pruning, and a rake, all so that I can clear out all of these limbs, twigs, leaves, all of these things that are going to make noise as I approach the stand, coming from basically from my truck into the woods. So today's going to be a lot of hard work. Stand by. Okay, so one of the first things that was instantly noticed upon approaching the stand is it's very wiggly. Even with the lashings, which are still pretty tight, and everything, all the screws and everything are tight on it. That's exactly why I'm gonna go up there and, number one, finish tightening up the original strap that's up there, and then put this other one on there as well. And where I will put it, I will attach the strap to here, right at this juncture, right at that juncture, wrap it around the tree, and do the same thing and attach it there as well. Well, that took pretty much no time to do. I was able to get that first new strap on there, and it is super tight. When I go to shake, I get nothing. Don't hear any wiggling, don't see any shaking. In addition, because of the storm that happened, and I was saying how the original strap, of course, would loosen up and needed more tightening, it did. I was able to get 3 additional clicks out of that ratchet, whereas last week when I first put it up, it was as tight as it was going to go. So right now, I'm feeling pretty confident that the stand is as tight as it's going to be. The only thing I'm going to do now is take this strap that's kind of hanging down, tie it up a little bit better, and secure it out of the way so that it's not just dangling down there. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on doing the wraparound for the bar there, for the gun rest. All right, I'm up here in the stand. I have already begun to wrap the bar with the camouflage tarp. And what you will want to do is, since when you take it out of the wrapper, it's already going to be folded in half. Only unfold it so much so that it still stays in half. That's halfway the 7-foot direction. And you'll take the 9-foot direction and go all the way around. This is the 9-foot length that allows it to take all the way around here. And because this is where your whole, this bar bends, you're not going to put any zip ties there. You'll put one here on the back, one there in the corner, and one to kind of secure it there, and then get past your bar, because see, that's where your bar begins. Get past there, and then you'll do another one there, and that way it'll hold it together and just go all the way around with several zip ties. I'll probably space them out at about 4 or 5 inches each. That way I'm not using too many zip ties, but then I certainly have enough. One other thing that I would suggest, do not have, or two things I want to suggest. Number one, when you do the amount that folds over, you only want an overlap of about 3 inches. Okay, just enough so that you can, you know, push through, punch through, and secure it with a zip tie. You don't want too much overhang. The reason being is because lizards, frogs, whatever, they'll climb up in here and they will nest in this. So then when you go to get into your stand, you may have a lizard jump on your face. You may have a frog jump on your face. Spiders get in there, may also jump on, you know, climb down your neck and bite you, something like that. You want to have the creased end up here and have the open end down at the bottom. The reason why you want to have the open end down at the bottom is so that when it rains, it doesn't collect a bunch of rain water and stagnant water in the creased end at the bottom. So you pretty much keep it open down there, and any kind of rain will just fall right down to the ground. Let's go ahead and get this thing zip tied together. I have completed zip tying the tarp to the stand, and as you can see, all the way around, I have pretty much plenty of camouflage and concealment, and the zip ties are all nice and tight. Now all I have to do, well, before I do anything else, before I tighten them down completely, I'm going to make sure that I am able to bend the bar up for getting in and out of the stand. And I can't. It's not tearing the tarp or anything like that. So it looks like we are in pretty good shape. So now all I got to do is just trim off all the excess off of each one of the zip ties, and then I can move on to the next project. Now that the tarp has been completely attached and all of the zip ties have been trimmed, I've moved on to the next enhancement. And that enhancement is a gear hook. So, sorry that the picture is so zoomed in here. It's a very tight space here. So what you want to do is drill into the tree and install a hook, a heavy-duty hook, for which you can hang your bag. As you come up into the stand, you'll have a rope hanging off the side here. You'll bring your bag up, and you'll have a place to have it stacked instead of having it sitting down here where you plan to sit. This gives you all the room and mobility in order to turn to your left, turn to your right as need be, and it keeps all of your gear in a place that's out of the way. So I didn't bring a drill with me. What I did bring though is a multi-tool. And this multi-tool is one of the best bang for your buck multi-tools that I've been able to find online. It's on eBay. Oh, it's not eBay, on Amazon. It's the Bastex brand. Let's see if I can get that. Bastex brand. I think this thing was like $13. Now what makes it great is that the tools actually lock into place, whereas most, see how the blade here, it won't come down. You have to press this button, which then allows it to fold down. And usually locking multi-tools like this are going to cost like $30-$40 or whatever, but the Bastex brand is really good in the fact that it only costs like $13. The only issue that I've had with it, and I have like 4 or 5 of these things, is that on this one, only this one, the pliers are offset wrong. And on top of that, you can tell that they're made out of some kind of pot metal, so it's not like made out of stainless and they're not going to hold up forever, but they don't rust and they do grip nice and tight. As you can see, there's not really no light in between the teeth there, and it's just too hard to get a good focus on it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Well, anyways, all that just to say that I use my multi-tool, the saw blade of my multi-tool, in order to carve a hole, and I'm in fact working on doing the second hole right now. So as you can see, I've already started boring that hole out. All I'm doing is getting it in about 3/4 of an inch deep and knocking all the wood chips out. That way I can go ahead and screw the next hook right on into the tree. Now that I have the hole all bored out and cleaned out, I'm just putting that hook in there and screwing it in nice and tight. Like I said, I only made the hole about a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch deep. That way the hook has something to dig all the way into. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw this all the way in. It's probably about 1 inch, maybe 1.25 inches that I can get that in. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw that the rest of the way. All right, and here we are. It is completely screwed all the way in, and it will support a good amount of weight. So what I plan to do is have my bag hanging here and have my bow hanging from here. That way, in the event that I'm able to get a close shot that isn't going to require a rifle or a shotgun, I should be able to use my bow. And if I'm stealthy enough, I should be able to get it down off of that hook without being noticed by the wildlife. All right, let's move on to the next piece of work, which should be clearing out all of this wood. I want to clear out a clean path from the edge of the wood line all the way to the tree stand. That way when I'm walking in, I make as little amount of noise as possible, even though I will get into the stand early enough that it probably won't make a difference. I still want to, come in as quietly as possible. So best way to do that means clearing out some trees, actually clearing out that dead undergrowth, and then after that I'll start making some firing lanes so that it'll be easier to get a good bead on a deer as it walks through. That way I can hit it with my arrow or with a bullet. So those are the next things. Let's hop to it. Okay, so that path has been completely cleared out. You can see it pretty clear here. All I did was just rake the leaves and the twigs off to the sides for this big tree that's fallen. Since I can't break it up or pick it up, I'm going to leave it there. I'll probably wind up chopping it up with an axe and removing that midsection. That way I don't have to worry about anything tripping over. The one just beyond it right there, you can see I broke that off and casted that off to the side. And from where I'm standing, you can't even make out where the tree stand is until you pan over and look a little deeper, and you can make out that orange strap that I put in today, which I will probably replace that with either a black or green strap instead. But let's go ahead and walk the path right quick so you can see exactly how quiet it is. The whole point isn't to landscape the woods. That's not your point at all. Your point is really just to get up anything that's going to snap or crackle while you're walking as you're heading to your stand in the dead of the night, or early wee hours, I should say, because there's no night hunting. But let's listen to how quiet it is. So that worked out perfectly. That is nice and quiet. That's as quiet as things are going to get, which allows me to walk all the way from the wood edge of the wood line all the way to the stand. nice and quietly without alerting any of the animals that I'm even in the woods. And I still was able to maintain the path that they've been using, which will allow them to come across my path. And now once they see my path, they'll actually use that also, since they are creatures of convenience. Now, I mentioned it with written word in the last video, but I'm going to mention it again today with spoken word. You want to do all of this as early as you can before the season starts. Right now, today's date is July 6th. And I'm doing this because deer season opens in August 15th here in Columbia, South Carolina. So, well, Columbia area, I should say. So you want to do this as early as possible so that your scent dissipates. I've left a lot of scent around here. All the sweat that I've been dropping, all the hard work I've been doing, my hands, the grease and everything from touching leaves and things like that, all of this is going to wind up, permeating the area, and it's going to keep the deer away because they can smell that. They don't want any part of it. So you want to do this as early in the season as you can, which will allow, or early in the preseason as you can, which will allow your scent to dissipate before the deer season starts, which allows you to draw them back in.